creatives, and welcome to another edition of Naked Mondays. So, I've talked a lot about this beauty. As you can see, she's thick. She's way too thick. And today I want to talk about the mistakes. I don't know if it's a mistake or mistakes that I made during the publishing of this book. I really love the cover. It came out beautifully. But when I go inside of the book, you will see that the formatting is off. It's really bad. And so I want to go into a bit about formatting a self-published book, but I just want to disclaim this with, this is not going to be a how-to video. It's just basically me talking about the mistakes I've made and giving you some information that might be helpful in making sure that you don't make the same mistakes, or correcting this mistake if this is a mistake that you made as well. So, let's get naked. So, I thought a good way to start this video and a good way to introduce you to me as a writer and the type of fiction that I write would be to give you kind of an excerpt from my novel, Unmasked. For me, the writing in this novel was not the issue. It was the formatting, most of all, which we are going to get into later. But for now, let's get into the story. So let's start with the blurb. So, this is the blurb that I wrote. Simone Tyler checks all the boxes. She's beautiful, successful, and she's poised to marry one of Hollywood's hunkiest actors, Pierce Dandrick. When her future mother-in-law, Violet, approaches her on her wedding day with an offer to quietly bow out of Pierce's life or risk the whole world knowing her secret, Simone quickly exits her wedding, stage left. Her secret leaks anyway and sets into motion a series of events that leaves her questioning who she can trust. With the appearance via text of a person only known to Simone as a friend, she soon finds out that she is not the only one who has skeletons to keep. Her friend slowly and meticulously begins to pull apart the empire that Violet is building with Pierce. Simone soon returns to the very place that she has avoided like the plague and begins to question everything that she's held dear. As things with her friend escalate and the curtain is pulled back, she quickly realizes that nothing is what it seems. Unmasked and faced with a new reality, she must remember what it means to be Simone Tyler and why she started her journey in the first place. So that's the blurb. And now let's get started on the actual story. I think I'm going to read chapter 1. What's different about the Unmasked story is that I told the story in one point of view, and it's told all from Simone's point of view. She is the main character, and it kind of follows her journey of discovery. She has pretty much created this glass house for herself that in this first chapter completely unravels because she is faced with a decision. So let's get into the story. This is Unmasked, chapter 1, titled Runaway Bride. It only hits me in times like this, how far I've come and the road less traveled that I've taken to get here. Gazing at my reflection in the full-length mirror, I ponder my life. Reflection is a funny thing. It can take you on the highest highs and also dump you right in the middle of your lowest lows. I never imagined I would become what I've become. Everything was stacked against me. Sometimes it was stacked so high that I don't know how I managed to climb over it. But that's life. We climb and claw our way to the top, only to find that the view is not what we expected. Today, if I had the choice between being here at what I would consider a major top of the mountain moment in my life and plunging head first from the cliff, I would throw my body to the sea without giving it a second thought. Plummeting to the rocks and sea below, I would embrace the moment I made contact with a sense of relief and satisfaction. I would finally be free of all the lies and secrets that had held me prisoner since I accepted Pierce's hand in marriage. The truth is, the woman staring back at me didn't always exist. This woman with impeccably applied makeup, killer curves, honey blonde hair swept meticulously into a sleek chignon, and almond colored skin was just a deferred dream concocted in my imagination and brought to life with my blood, sweat, and tears, and the hands of America's best cosmetic surgeons. She came to me, layer by layer, as I peeled back the pieces of myself that never fit who I always knew myself to be, and replaced them with the parts that made sense to the vision of who I have always been. No one can walk a journey like mine and not lose something. No one can be born one person and become another without some casualties. It's a war. And the instant I traded Michael for Simone, I knew my life would never be the same. I admire my dress. When my best friend Jasmine asked me to describe what I wanted, I drew a blank. In all of my wildest, most outrageous dreams, I never imagined that I would make it through my 20s, let alone have a man get down on one knee and propose. So, asking me about my vision of my wedding gown was akin to what I used to feel about my surgeries. Impossible. But he did propose. And despite all Jasmine's reservations and warnings, she created a dress for me that rivals Carrie Bradshaw's Vivienne Westwood masterpiece, with a hint of Sasha Fierce to leave them all gagging in the aisles. Her vision is a ball gown draped in silk, the color of the most vivid purple orchid at the corseted and strapless bodice. The entire sweetheart neckline glimmers with tiny crystals that shine like diamonds in the light. The skirt is the same purple as the bodice at the top, but then she dyed the silk with an ombre effect until it fades into the classic ivory at the bottom of the gown where it touches the floor. She even took the time to apply the same crystals that she applied to the neckline to the ivory sash and bow, and completed the look with a simple pillbox hat with a blushing veil that rests obediently over my face. I'm everything a bride could hope to be on her wedding day, but it's all overshadowed by the lies. I glance down at the note in my hand, and I'm transported back to a time when life seemed so complicated. Back when Michael was the driver and Simone took the back seat, I would have never imagined that I would end up here, literally facing myself, and all the lies, disappointments, and all around fucked up things that life throws at you to knock you flat on your ass. I had no idea then what being transgender would mean to my life, or the things I would learn about myself in pursuit of my most authentic self. Tears cloud my eyes. Then there's a knock at the door. I quickly wipe them away and pull myself together. "Come in," I say, trying to sound like I imagine I should sound on my wedding day. The door swings open to reveal my soon-to-be mother-in-law, Violet. "Where's Pierce?" I smile uncomfortably. It's the only smile I've ever managed to use with Violet. She hates the mere sight of me. "You clean up beautifully, darling," she remarks, ignoring my question. "And the dress is très magnifique." "Who was the designer again?" We must make sure that she gets all the credit that dress deserves. I take a deep breath, ignoring her comment. "Where's Pierce?" I ask again. "Don't you worry about that, my dear. I told him that I'd come back and check on you. Is everything okay?" she asks, stepping into the room and closing the door behind her. "I need to talk to him." "Alone," I answer, my palms suddenly perspiring. "I see you got my note," she says, her eyes dropping to the piece of paper in my hand and then settling on my eyes in a triumphant glare. Her mouth sneers, and I dream of about a million things I would like to do to her to wipe it off her face. My hands tremble. You sent this? She cackles like some dark villainess going in for the kill. Did you really think that someone like you could marry someone like Pierce? He's going to be a star, and I've invested way too much time and energy in his career to have a freak like you ruin it. Her words bite at my heart like a rabid dog. Well, at least we can stop pretending to like each other, I say, my eyes never leaving hers. She smirks. I always knew there was something different about you. But when I found out you were born a male, I knew I hit pay dirt. So let me tell you what you're going to do. She opens her clutch and removes an envelope. And that will conclude the excerpt from Unmasked. I hope you enjoyed that. So let's go into the next phase of this video. So as I stated before, this is not going to be a tutorial on formatting because I think that I still have a lot to learn about formatting, but I have found a couple of author tubers that also own like publishing, that have also created their own editing and publishing companies that offer some good information. So I will offer the links to their channels in the description box below, so that you can access this information whenever you need it, because both of them have very thorough explanations of self-publishing, self-publishing tools and self-publishing how-tos, and I believe that one of them also offers a course on formatting. And I have not taken the course, so I don't know what the course is like per se, but I think it will be something that I purchase in the future, because it looks like she uses a completely different format. She uses Adobe InDesign, which I don't know if any of you have heard of that before, but I had never heard of InDesign. And she says that it's easier than Word to format a book in. So I would actually like to take her course and probably see what the cost of InDesign is for when I go to format this beauty again I want to try to format it throughout the month of July and get it published again by early August. Or get it republished, I should say. So anyway, let's get into some of the things that are important in formatting a book. So one of the author tubers that I am going to use, which I will link below, in reformatting Unmasked and getting it republished, is Mandy Lynn. She is an independent author, and she's also the, I guess you could consider her a CEO because it's her company. So the CEO of Stone Ridge Books. And she has a whole playlist of tools that you can use in your self-publishing journey if you don't know who she is already. I'm pretty sure that most of you know about her. I've known about her for a while. I wish I had used her during the formatting of Unmasked so that I did not have to go back and do this again, but I did not. And so anyway, in that video, she talks about one of the videos, she talks about the importance of what should be included in formatting a book. And one of those things is front matter. And in my book, I think I did, with Unmasked, I think I did pretty good with the front matter, because you're supposed to have a title page. What I also included was an also by page, you know, that page that comes in most books where it says also by this author or whatever. And I listed the books that were currently published as well as what was coming soon. And at the time, the book that was coming soon was Remembering June Seasons Change. I probably will reformat this page because that's how it looks right now. Some of the other things that I noticed as I'm looking through this front matter is the fonts and things that I used in order to create these pages. She also talked about a second title page. My second title page includes Unmasked, a novel, Nadia M. Johnson, which is me, and then who I published it through, which was Create Space Independent Publishing, which now I believe is KDP, so that would need to change as well. Then there is the copyright page, which basically is just that blurb about this is a work of fiction. The names, characters, organization, places, events, and blah 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 are all fiction, and any similarity, blah blah blah. That, and then it's got, of course, that it's got my copyright in there saying that this is all written by me. I didn't pull it from any other person's work. And then it says published by at the bottom and stuff like that. And then I have another page, which I guess is also a part of the copyright part, and it's got the ISBN number for the paperback, who designed the cover. I found my cover designer. And the cover designers that I usually get off of this website. I don't know if you guys are familiar with 99 Designs. Back when I was first starting out, I had no idea, and I still don't have any idea about how to create a cover. I just know what I like and what looks good, and so I use 99 Designs for my cover. I don't know how many of you use it. I know that it can be kind of pricey, but I think that in the case of this book, it was worth it. And I'm going to also use her for, the subsequent books in this series, because I want them to be, of course, similar covers and kind of have the same feel. So if anybody is on 99 Designs, she is with Beaux Arts Design. That is her name, and it's BEAUX Beaux Arts ARTS Designs, and she was excellent. And then going on, I created a table of contents, which now I don't understand why I did that. Who creates a table of contents in a work of fiction? I don't know why I did that. So I'm kind of disappointed in myself. But I'm going to take the table of contents out because that is not necessary, apparently, in fiction. So at the time, I don't know why I did it, but I did it. And so I own up to it. And then I did a quote page, which is a quote by Coco Chanel before I even started. And it just says, hard times arouse an instinctive desire for authenticity. And it's a Coco Chanel quote. And I thought that was perfectly fitting for this book because I'm not really sure the context of the quote, but for the story that I'm telling in this book, it was a beautiful kind of summation of the journey that Simone takes. And then, of course, the dedication page, and then the beginning of the book. So, those were the front matter pages. So, let's go into some of the logistics of formatting. I have formatted all of my books in Word, which has been tedious and sometimes time-consuming because Word is definitely not designed to format a book. And Mandy Lynn says that in the video that I'm referring to, where she talks about back matter, front matter, and just formatting in general. And it definitely is not built for you to do this formatting a book thing in. It can be done. Because there is another author tuber that I follow, Natalia Lee, which I will also link below, who also has a book on formatting in Word. and it's an excellent video. It's a step-by-step tutorial on how to format your book, and it was very helpful to me in my second Remembering June book, because I watched it and I was able to format the book in the way that I felt that was good for the book. But what I want to talk about next in formatting is basically like if you're going to format in Word, they have headers and footers. So in the header, I put my name as well as the name of the book on each, at the top in the header. And then at the bottom, I put the page number. Since then, I have learned what I should properly put in a header. Generally, it's what I've seen in books is it's been the title of the book on one side, the author's name on the other side. So on this particular page, I probably should have just stuck with one or the other, but I didn't. So I'm going to actually do more research about what belongs on that first page and kind of, format the header to meet that standard. And then on the bottom, of course, is the page number, which I've come to realize I don't always think that they number the first page on a book. So I think the footer probably needs to be changed on that first page as well. And then, so then the next thing that is the most glaring thing wrong with the formatting in this book is the spacing, the line spacing. I believe that when I published this book, I literally double spaced everything. Do not do that. Do not double space. And please, before you format a book, check out Mandy Lynn's page, check out Natalia Lee's page, but actually refer to anyone else in the comments below. If there's anyone else that you can think of that gives excellent information on formatting, so that other people don't make that mistake as they're going into publishing their books. I don't think everybody makes these mistakes because I don't think everyone was in such a hurry. I think when I published this book, I think I was in a serious hurry to get this book out, because it had been 4 years since I had published anything, and I felt like, my writing had kind of stalled, and I just wanted to get a book out there. Don't make that mistake. Take your time. Be thorough. Do your research. Again, this is not a tutorial, so I'm not going to explain to you what the line spacing should be, but I'm going to show you this so that you know that it is not this. Do not do this. Do not. This book ended up being, I believe, 441 pages, and after I reformat it, it's probably going to be half of that size, because every page is just stacked with double spaced pages. And that's not how a real, that does not meet the publishing standards. So do not, just learn from me. Do not do that. Now let's talk about, now that we've cleared all of that up, let's talk about the back matter. So the back matter is usually the acknowledgement, the kind of information about the author, which honestly in Unmasked, I honestly don't know if so it looks like I did do an acknowledgement as evidenced here. But what I neglected to do was separate my follow me stuff, all my Facebook, my Twitter, my website, my Instagram page. That should all be included under the author information page, and I stuck it in the acknowledgement page. Don't do that. Don't do that. Create a completely separate author page that kind of gives a description of who you are, what your life is like. Do that separately. And then another thing that Mandy Lynn focused on in her video, which if you go over to her page, you will be able to watch the same video that I watched, she focused on those two things, the acknowledgement and then the author kind of um, bio page. And then she also said that if it was a series, like this will eventually be a series. I'm actually working on the second book in this series now, and she mentioned that you can also give like a teaser to the new book, to the next book in the series. Um, so that's just giving me something to think about, because my second book isn't in a place where I want to provide a teaser to this book, because there's no guarantee that that first chapter is going to remain the same at this point, since I am currently working on the first chapter of the book. So I probably won't include kind of a lead chapter for the second book in the republishing of this book, because that book is not ready yet. But that is back matter. You should have an acknowledgement page, an author bio page, and then any other little tidbits that might be fun. I've seen people do like recipes in the back of their in their back matter. I've seen people do fun, just little fun things that kind of connect to the book. And but the most important thing are the acknowledgement, the author bio, and then if you have any chapters leading into the next book in a series, then adding those as well. As I stated before, the two resources that I am going to rely on the most for reformatting Unmasked and republishing is Mandy Lynn's channel with Stone Ridge Books, and then Natalia Lee with Enchanted Ink Publishing. She is not only Natalia and Mandy Lynn both have like publishing companies that focus on editing, cover design, formatting. So here's the thing: you don't have to format the books yourself. Like if you don't want to pay, someone to format a book, Mandy Lynn and Natalia Lee both give you some help in formatting your book. And Natalia Lee specifically has a video that helps you format your book in Word, which is going to be very helpful for me, because right now I don't believe I have Adobe InDesign. I know I have Adobe, but I'm not sure what is all included with the subscription, so I don't want to buy a whole new set of software for that. But I think eventually, as I continue to publish more books, I will play around with things like Adobe InDesign, because always having another resource to format a book is actually a really good idea, because like as I stated before, and as Mandy Lynn will state in her video, Word is not designed for formatting a book, and it's oftentimes very difficult. But I think Natalia Lee's video really helps to break down the steps that you need to take in order to format a book um, in Word. And so I will include the link to both of their channels below, and they both have playlists that are specifically focused on self-publishing. So I recommend watching some of those videos and kind of familiarizing yourself with both of these author tubers, because they have some really good information. My future plans for this beauty here, Unmasked by me, is to get it reformatted, and also to republish it by early August. So not only do I plan on working on a new writing project in August, but I also want to focus on reformatting and republishing Unmasked. I thought about it, and I could wait until I publish for the first time the second book in this series, Unbridled, but I want to republish this and have this available for sale before that, because once again, I really enjoyed writing this story. I really think it's a very relevant story to today's times. And I think anyone can relate to the character Simone, and I really think that I want this to be available to the world before I finish and before I publish Unbridled, because I think it'll be at least another maybe year before I publish another book, and I'm not even sure if Unbridled will be the next book that I publish. So I just want to have this available for sale again. Um, Later on, I think I want to do another video about formatting an ebook, because I know for sure that on Mandy Lynn's channel, she has a video on there that talks about formatting an ebook, because I'm going to have to also go back and reformat all of my ebooks. And I'm not really excited about reformatting or redoing anything, because I should have really paid attention the first time. So I'm really recorded this video today as a cautionary tale to you as you begin your indie publishing journey, to just not be in a hurry. There are so many great author tubers out here that are doing it the right way the first time, and they're not having to go back and republish things or fix things that were wrong in their first publication. So follow those author tubers. Make sure that you learn from them, because we have so much valuable information out there already. But I felt like it was important for me to use this book as a Naked Monday subject, because if I had done this right the first time, I wouldn't have had to pull it down and I wouldn't have to republish it. And so I just wanted to record this more as a cautionary tale for you, as a fellow author, that you just take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Learn as much as you can. Write as much as you can before you publish your first book, or even, and then also I recorded this to show you that, you know, despite everything, you are still going to make mistakes. It doesn't matter whether you've published 25 books or you've published just one. You're going to make mistakes along this journey. And let the mistakes be okay, but learn from them and don't repeat them in the future. And I can say that every mistake that I've made on this journey to indie publishing has been a mistake that I've learned from and that I will not repeat again. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I thank you again for joining me. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and even comment. Because I really like, if you have other resources that you found on AuthorTube or beyond AuthorTube that you feel would be good for other authors to know about, please, especially specifically related to formatting, then please share that in the comments, because we are a community and we should be sharing the information that we are getting as often as possible, so that people have the information and they're not making the same mistakes that we're making. So that will conclude this edition of Naked Monday, and I hope that you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week for another edition of Naked Monday. Have a great day. Bye.